Ever noticed how the people around you start slipping away, slowly, without warning? It's not a purge of people, not yet. It's the subtle disconnection of relationships. But why? You felt it. The read receipt with no reply, the calendar invite that gets lost in a perpetual tentative status. That group chat, the one that actually got things done, now feels like a museum exhibit. The last message is a fossil. No announcement was made, but the network is going dark. This is the phase where let's take this offline stops being a strategy and starts being a crime, where trust becomes a liability, where every coffee chat starts to feel like a potential compliance violation. If you're watching this, one of these patterns is now your reality. 1. Ever asked for a quick favor only to be met with silence, and then days later, a response quoting a policy you've never seen? It's not just bureaucracy, it's a system that's tightening its grip. 2. In meetings, referencing a person's name as a solution, "Oh, Sarah in legal always helps us with this," gets you a blank stare, followed by, "We should follow the documented escalation path." 3. You notice a new CC on emails to your longtime collaborator, a third party, a witness. Every conversation is now a performance with an audience. This isn't social awkwardness. This is the system executing a protocol. Call it the informal connection clearance protocol. Your web of relationships isn't breaking down. It's being systematically dismantled. You're not being ghosted by friends. You're being isolated by architecture. Here's why it happens. In sunshine, your network is an asset. It's the glue. It's how you get the impossible done by Friday. But when clouds gather, when there's a crisis, a scandal, a downturn, that same network is re-categorized. It's no longer glue, it's contraband, an unapproved communication grid, a security threat, and it must be decommissioned. Phase 1. Your trust becomes a blind spot. The power of your old network was its invisibility. No org chart captured it. No software tracked it. The system's first move is to flood it with light. Think about a tech company after a major data leak. The forensics team isn't just looking for hackers. They're obsessed with how data moved inside. Those brilliant cross-functional Slack channels, the war rooms. Suddenly, they're not examples of agility, they're unauthorized data conduits, internal threat vectors. Your reputation for being connected doesn't make you a linchpin anymore. It makes you a person of interest. Your closeness to others is no longer seen as collaborative. It's seen as a potential bypass around control. And once that happens, what's left of your connections? Keep watching to find out. The system starts to view your Rolodex not as a tool, but as a map of vulnerabilities. But who's watching? And how do they decide who's next? That's where things get dangerous. Stay tuned. Here's how you know this is starting. When a colleague rephrases your private joke into corporate jargon in a public meeting, you're not being betrayed. You're watching a human connection get overwritten by a system update. Phase 2. Your efficiency becomes the problem. Remember when you and that person in accounting could fix a payroll error with one phone call? The system tolerated that when things were calm. Now it sees that not as efficiency, but as a single point of failure, a rogue circuit. So it replaces your fast human circuit with a slow, documented process. It's like replacing a handshake with a notarized contract. Observe any major bank after a regulatory fine. The quick call between the trader and the compliance officer, gone, dead. Now it's a formal ticket, a written memo, a thread with legal CC'd. The person who was once the go-to fixer is now the biggest risk because their method was opaque. The system isn't ungrateful for your past miracles. It's terrified by them. So it wraps your relationships in procedure until they can't move. Phase 3, your safety net becomes a dragnet. This is the cruelest part. You built this network for protection, for a rainy day. But when the storm hits, the network doesn't protect you. It traps you. Under pressure, systems don't see a web of allies. They see a web of collusion. A scandal breaks in a European conglomerate. The investigators don't just subpoena emails. They map the golf club memberships, the charity boards, the dinner parties. What was built over decades as a trust network appears in the official report as a collusion network. Your contacts don't vouch for you. Their names on your call log become evidence against you. The ultimate return on investment for your networking skills might just be a longer, more suspicious timeline for the investigators to parse. But here's the catch. What happens when they start looking at you as part of the problem? Stay with us. Right now, the value of your network is being inversely calculated. The stronger it was, the greater your coalition risk score. Let's be clear, the system isn't attacking you. It's deleting the old fuzzy connection protocol you used to run on. You are being migrated against your will from a system that ran on trust to one that runs on verification. It's a platform change, and you're the data being migrated. So what do you do when the protocol changes? Trying to revive the old network is like trying to use a VHS tape in a streaming world. But what if the new world isn't better? What if it's more dangerous? Let's unpack this. Don't. Instead, you emulate the new system. First, go painfully public. Move every significant conversation to email or the official work app. Give each one a boring, descriptive subject line. Make your communication look like a public record, not a private chat. Second, speak in policy. Start your sentences with per the Q2 guidelines or as documented in section 7.3. Sound like a manual, not a human. Your goal is to be so transparent you become invisible. Third, be the first to CC. If you have a one-on-one call, send a bland, factual summary afterward and CC a neutral third party or a departmental mailbox. You're not being thorough. You're creating an alibi. You're proving the connection was sterile. This isn't about being a better colleague. It's about performing connection hygiene in a system that now sees connections as germs. Forget the old stories. The crisis forges stronger bonds myth. Crises forge tighter rules. Your attempt to call in a personal favor will be the first thing flagged. The my sponsor will shield me myth. Your sponsor's first move in a storm will be to prove they play by the new rules. That might mean proving they don't play favorites. Guess who becomes Exhibit A? The we're all in this together silent pact. The system breaks those by offering one person a deal. Then the solidarity shatters into mutual suspicion. Your options are bleak, my friend. You can become a model citizen of the new cold world. Cost, you become a slow, predictable, utterly uninspired bureaucrat. You can try to keep the old network alive in the shadows. Cost, you are now a spy in your own company. The stress will burn you out, and discovery means ruin. Or you can be the one who publicly, voluntarily disassembles your own network, offering it up as a sacrifice to prove your loyalty to the new order. Cost, you will be hated, but you might be safe for now. Trying to keep the old ways has a cost. Hiding them has a cost. Burning them down yourself has a cost. The most expensive choice is believing nothing has changed. You don't have to decide this second. Just see the design. The system is simplifying itself for the fight. It's cutting through the complex web of human ties, and it's doing it quickly. But in that simplification, what are we losing? And what happens when the last tie snaps? It's trading intelligence for control. And in that simplification, there is a sequence, a triage. The system can't shut down all connections at once, so it picks its targets. Which nodes are severed first? The most visible, the most connected, the ones who represent the old way of doing things. Your network was an asset. Now it's a list. And lists have a top line. But whose name is at the top of that list? You might already know, but if you don't, you won't want to miss what happens next. Which brings us to the inevitable next question. When the clearing begins, whose name is at the top of that list? Next, who gets picked off first when the panic sets in? For now, just sit with this. When management mandates no more side channels, they're not improving communication. They're laying the groundwork for the interrogations. The system doesn't send a breakup text to your alliances. It just starts logging every unapproved conversation, and suddenly friendship looks a lot like conspiracy.